Hey party people, and welcome back to MVM. And today I'm here with the preview for Wroth. Wroth is by Chip Theory Games. This is one of their smaller box games here, and I also have heard it's cheaper, so that's good. Not lacking the quality though, based on this prototype. But this is designed by Manny Tremblay, who is the artist for Dice Throne. So this should be pretty interesting to see how this works out. I'm here to inform you and help you make a backing decision here today. This video is sponsored, trying to keep my opinion out as much as possible, but you know that I don't cover games that I don't like. I also don't like area control games, but I'm showing you this game today. So that should even give you a hint of how I feel about it, but that's not what we do in paid previews. So let's just go ahead and dig into it. So what is this game? Area control game for 1 to 4 players. You are just bashing each other to death, okay? Factions, asymmetric factions with their own type of troops. So they're getting into this battleground in different ways and using their abilities and mobility and all that kind of stuff. And then you also have a variable setup going on. You're drafting dice. That will be your actions for the round. So it's got some pretty crazy stuff going on here. A nice combination of crazy stuff, and it plays really quickly, like 60 to 80 minutes tops. I mean, even if you're really taking your sweet time, it shouldn't. It's really aggressive type game. So let's just go ahead and take a look at it. I'm going to show you how it plays, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and hopefully you can make an informed backing decision. Down here, you will see the different faction mats. Each faction has 25 troops in it, and you should see this right here. This is what I call a fake scenario. We just kind of don't go full setup here. We give you the landscape, and then we just move into combat. All right, so we have I'm just going to move these out of the way. Boom. All right. You have your faction mats here, you have your first player token, and each faction has their own set of elite troops, which are dice, and then you have your regular troops, which are like little, they're not even meeples. I'm not even sure these are going to be meeples. Always look at the page. They will tell you what they're going to be. But then we have our all-seeing die. I don't know why that, it sounds like an 80s thing, like the all-seeing die. I don't know. Maybe I just skip the lore page. I have no idea, but whatever. You have your scoring board here. This is kind of just showing the state of the game. And then we also have some actions we can take. We'll talk about when that comes into play. But I should mention the feat card. That's your awesome move. And that's pretty much it here. Out here, what you're looking at is the lay of the land. It's really colorful. Of course, that's Manny's artwork. Probably shoot some pictures up there so you can see the artwork in a little bit more in depth. But as you can see, there's different sections, and they all have these scoring tokens. Some of the scoring tokens have actual icons on them, and those are benefits that you will get at the beginning of the round. I'll talk about that later, but you should know that at the beginning of the game, the setup looks like this. It's plain, there's nothing there. Troops will be in the deployment areas of the board, and you'll flip these over, and there will be extra ones on the side, but you'll find out every game will be different just based on the fact that those will pop up in different spots in each of the 8 spots, and you'll even have a couple left over, which will remain like this. So you don't even know which ones were left out of the game, but you probably could tell. There may be a 3 in the game, there may not be a 3 in the game, but whatnot. But this is how the game is particularly set up. The lay of the land is, these are the shores and the deployment areas. They represent like the bottom area, and then you have your level 1s, which you can jump on anywhere on these level 1s over here, and then you also have level 1s here on these sides. But then you move up, and you have to move adjacent here to go up a level 2, and then adjacent to go up to level 3. More than likely, there'll be some markings and stuff on this board to kind of give you that idea. But all you're trying to do is either control by having the most troops on an area, or dominate by having no one on there, and you are the controlling character. So you have a complete domination, and what that does is it lets you score 1 point or even more points. And even on top of that, some of these awesome troops here will give you more points. So there's a lot of different ways to contribute to winning. All right, so you have all your different factions here. We're showing you the different mats. They have a regular side and they have an AI side. That's because this does play solo and co-op. I have not played the solo. I did play the co-op with the designer, and I'll tell you a little bit about that when we get towards the end. But for now, let's dig into play. Each round has six phases, I believe it is, and they're really easy to get through because they have this awesome player aid. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into what goes on. The first part of the round, you're going to be passing this to the left. It'll cycle around here, and I'm going to speed some of this up so you get an idea of what's going on. But you're going to be moving this to the left, and then you're going to be taking the benefits that you may see on any of these tokens. So you see this one right here? This one gives you Cora. Cora is the resource that you buy things for, buy things with in the game. So you have these pieces here. I just dropped one here. And you're going to use those on your turn to buy things, okay? Then you're... So you may have some that let you move troops. You may have some that give you points, all kinds of, I mean, not points, but they give you benefits, like you can get core. You can also attack. Another one here, I believe you get to move troops somewhere. There's all these different little benefits that are on there. You get those. That's the second part. Each faction gets one core. And like I said, those are going to be the ones that give you some things to use and score, and I'm sorry, to buy your elite troops here. They cost, some of them will cost 2, some of them will cost more, I believe, but I think almost all of them will cost 2 or 1. So you're going to be using and spending those as well. Then you get into you add troops to the floor. So you add them to your little drop area. I'm just going to call them the drop zone here. Your little drop zone. That's where they come in. Okay, probably not drop zone like Warzone in the Warzone video game here, but it's the deployment area. It's the deployment zone. All right. So then you also roll your all-seeing die. And like I said, this all-seeing die has some cool stuff. So it has double attacks. It's also got ×2. So ×2 whatever action you're doing. Extra Cora. I think I'm missing one. And then you can strike anywhere on the board for 1 damage. So you have that. Every one of these will roll. Every one of these people will roll. And what you get is what you get. You can do this in addition to your turn. So then you got those as well. We got all the same thing. Let's change it up just a little bit here. Boom, boom. Okay, cool. That was kind of interesting. All right, next we roll all these dice. Okay, so all these dice are going to have different sides on them. They're going to be 2 for each character plus 1. The person who's in last place will get the 3rd die. So we're going to be drafting these dice. I'm going to roll it up just a little bit more. We're going to change some of these faces for diversity's sake so you can get an idea of all the actions in the game. All right, I think we're good there. That looks good. And now what we'll do is we'll start to draft these dice. Now, in order to speed this up, you're going to draft 1 die at a time, and then the last person, of course, will have the opportunity to take what's left. Okay, so it looks like blue is in last place. I'm just going to give them the 3 die that I think are smart enough. I don't know if that's smart enough. I'm just going to grab some dice and give them to you and just kind of explain the actions as I go along. All right, here we go. So what are we looking at here? It looks like we got some elite troops out here, and you want these elite troops out here because they're going to do the most damage, stand their ground the best, lean into the theme that you have. Otherwise, you just have troops that are just hanging out, ready to kind of tic-tac each other. It's those elite troops that you want to get out. So maybe on your turn, you want to take an action with your die, but you also have the option of spending Cora on your turn to get one of these elite characters out there. You also have the ability of using your feat card. A feat card is one of those like powered up, like feel my wrath kind of things that make you awesome. You use it one time, you kick butt, you do whatever it says to kick butt, and then that happens and it's only used one time in the game. You do not recover this here. You can also just take 2 die, turn them in, and then you can do one of these actions up here, one of these wild actions up here. You can't do the one that's covered. You can also just remove one of the die and just deploy a 1 troop here. And you have to deploy in your deployment zones unless there's something that says you can deploy where you're at. So let's just go ahead and lean into some of this stuff. We have this here. This one right here is basically taking all your troops from one area and moving them to an adjacent area. So let's just say I wanted to move some of my troops. I wanted to move all these guys up here. I want to kind of start taking over this region here. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so I can do that with this die, and I would just put it back over here. Then we move on to our next player here. We have our Paladin, and I'm just going to talk about some of the troops that this person has. So the Paladin are real protective. They have some movement. So you're looking at some of the die here. Maybe I want to start out by adding some dice. Adding one of my elites out here. So what I'll do is I'll spin the core that it says on the board, and each one of these boards will tell you, each one of the boards will actually say exactly what it does and how it scores here at the bottom. I think I'm going to put an iron will down, and the iron will is going to go all the way up there. And what it's going to do is I'm going to spin the 2 core. Okay, and it says when deploying an iron will, place it in a region where the paladin have the most troops but no iron will. And I have the most troops here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it there with the most iron will. Iron wills are immobile. When an opposing faction attacks a region with the iron will takes the damage first. So it's kind of like a hold your ground area here. There is some threat here. That's totally fine. I have my iron will. But let's say I wanted to use this instead to put one of these riders here. And the riders come in with full health. And each one of these characters will come in with full health when you release them. But the interesting part is you don't roll the die when they come in. This is actually just like a health tick down. Okay, so it takes you from here. For this one, it's 3 health. There's some that have 4 health. There'll be some that have maybe lower health, but they take hits for you. Okay, so maybe I want to unleash this guy here. It says before moving a rider, attack the region it occupies for 1 damage, and after moving, attack the region it now occupies for 1 damage. So it's like maybe on a horse, and then it goes, lands in a spot. You know, maybe picture somebody with a lance. I don't know. I'm doing too much. All right. So I spend those 2. Maybe I want to put them there. Okay. So then I put them there. And then I take my action. I can attack here. So I can take my action. I'm going to attack. I can attack here, or I can attack an adjacent spot here. Maybe I just want to attack this one here, and I want to attack it with my regular die here. So I can actually attack with this guy here, attack him, come in here, attack, and destroy this die if I wanted to, or I can just attack with one of my regular guys and take them out. When I take them out, they go off and they are dead. They're gone, okay? So they're gone, all right? If I attack and I kill one of the elite troops over here, they go back to the board of the character here. So that's that action here. I got here, I'm going to move 2 of my troops. I believe that's the move the troops here. Deploy 2 troops to the drop zone, or I may move 2 troops to a different region. So I have my guild. The guild is really interesting because it's about stealing. It's kind of like the thieves guild in this game. You're also going to have kind of like a pack, like the League of Shadows kind of thing. That's what these Christen do. The more of them that are out there, the more powerful they are. So you want to have as many of the Christens out there so that you can do some kind of interesting little white moves here. But ultimately, this feat right here will give them 10 cores, so they'll be able to get all their people out there and do more damage and cause more ruckus. So I have all these different things here. What do I want to do? I want to move my peeps around. I don't really have too much. I'm going to go ahead and start putting them out there too. So we're going to spend 2 gems. These all cost 2 gems. And I'm going to put one of my guys out there. Does it say that I need to have something special? When attacking a region with the Christen, deal damage equal to the number of Christen in play. All right, so I'm just going to put this Christen out here. It has to start over here. And once it gets out and about, that's when I can start doing things. So there are some that come into play. They come into play right where your troops are or whatnot, but there are some, they just really start in your deployment zone. You got to get them moving because they're just like other troops, but they move really well. Some of them will take troops with them. So you have all kinds of stuff that can play out in this game, but that's that one, okay? And we just keep going. But I'm going to show you something really interesting. So you can take your times 2. Now let's say I wanted to do this one here. I can deploy 2 troops in a place that I occupy. So I can actually do that and do times 2. I can do that twice. So I can put 4 troops. So let's say I want to do that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I have 5 and they have 5. Okay, like that kind of stuff. I can put that there. Or I can do this. I can do 4 right there. Now I'm all of a sudden I am leading or whatever. I can do whatever I want. Let's just say I want to hold my ground right here. I'm going to hold my ground for that 1 point. Let's just say I do it, all right? I can't make real strategic things on the fly here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that will move this one off here, and I've used my all-seeing die for the round. Next up, same thing. I can do double attack on this one here. So I can do double attack. Maybe I want to attack with the horse here. Maybe I want to, like I'm trying to make sure I'm clearing things up. Maybe I just want to double attack this ram here, and I can attack it once, or I can attack this guy. He goes back because he's only got 1 health, and then I attack this one down here because they have 2 health, and I can start whittling away at them. And then I can actually use my action die, and my action die says I can deploy 2 troops where I have troops at. Maybe I want to add to this here, so I make sure I'm dominating, I'm controlling this at the end of the round, or maybe I just want to start adding more to here. But I'm looking at this, it's close enough to a tie. I have these 2, I have 4, maybe I don't want to do that, or maybe I have something I want to start to establish. So I'm just going to go pile up here. So we're going to add 2 more here. Notice I didn't change these die. I want to make sure you understand, like, hey, you got to choose with what you have, because that's part of the game. What are you going to do on the fly? I'm going to use this die right away just to take 1 Cora, okay? And then finally, I get to attack. And when I get to attack, like I said, I can attack where I'm at, or I can attack 1 spot away. And I can do something so simple as I can attack with these guys 1 spot away and take this out. But I don't want to take this out because that will let them dominate. Maybe I want to get somewhere where I can't attack. I'm just going to attack right here. Boom. Take this out. Or I attack one of these guys. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to whittle away at this team here. And I could flip this off and get 10 Cora. I can do all kinds of stuff. But I'm also going to strike. I'm not going to waste this die. I can shoot anywhere on this map. Okay, so I can shoot anywhere on this map. Maybe I wanted to do this instead. So I go pew. Okay, so I go pew from the last one, and then I go pew for this one here. So now we're all tied. Nobody gets those points. That's what I want. I want, hey, you can't have it, bro, okay? You can't have it, bro. All right, so that would be basically the round. Okay, so now that we've taken all our turns and we just kind of kicked butt and took names there, now we're going to our victory points. So once we get into our victory point area, we are looking at who's controlling and who's dominating. Control just means you have the most troops. Okay, so for example, we're going to go around the regions in order. Okay, when we go around in order, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's just kind of like you're going around this like this. Hope to God I got that right. All right, so we're looking at this one here. Everybody is tied up, so nothing there. I'm going to show you a little interesting little thing. So this one here, the blue has 3 points, but they're also going to get an extra point for dominating. So wow, blue goes from the rear in the gear, they go all the way up there. And then we have 3. It's going to go 1. This is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to 2. So they're going to get 1 point based on this right here. So orange will get 1 point. All right, then we move over here. We have green, which is dominating hardcore. Then they're going to get 1 plus 1 more. So green will get that. So 2 to 9, like this. Then we move inside of here. And this is where things get really interesting here. And I should have done this back here. When this special troop is out here, all these special elite troops have extra scoring. So when you're controlling these things, you also are worried about the threat of that. And that's why you may want to start ticking away at these. So for example, when I resolve this one here, you're going to have, it says plus 1 victory point if a line is in a controlling region. So they're controlling, so they get an extra point there. So now as we move into here, we had a couple things that happen. This minor, this runen has a minor. It says when deploying a minor, place it on a region with the most runen. During a victory point check, if a minor is in a region, the runen controlling that, they gain plus 1 Cora, or they gain plus 2 if they're dominating. Well, there's nobody else here. We're dominating. Awesome. So I get plus 2 Cora, and then I also get a victory point, extra victory point. So I get 3 victory points. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So then we go in here, we have our regular troops here. This one's not dominating. We get an extra point, we get a point here, so we get 1 point here. And then finally in the upside here, green, they're going to get 2 points, 1 for controlling, 1 for dominating, and then that would be it. 1, 2, like so. And this is how the game will play out. You would not do this in the first round, but this is how it plays out. And then when we start the next round, this moves over, and then we go into getting these benefits as well. And the game continues until we get to 40 points. We just keep going through this very quick rounds. And I should just say, there are some very interesting powers on here, but I don't want to go too deep into them. But like I said, the minor has a special thing where they generate more resources. They have a ram. So there's like a ram die, and you get to like jump let's say I was over here, I get to jump over here and like bash two people to different areas. Like I can just bash from the two different areas. To take out one guy, bash from the two different areas. Like this one here, it says at the start of each row, I gain more health. This one, the lion, it gains more health. So it keeps generating health, so it's really hard to get rid of. That means you're gonna have to keep attacking it and not letting it, get its health. The Stellan over here from the guild, they still core from each one of the players that are on the board. This one here, the more of these lions that are out on the board, the more damage they do. This one here, you get, if you have the doppelganger, it says the guild steals one core from each opposing faction, also immediately gains one victory point. So you're really trying to be aggressive, trying to not let people lean into the themes that they have. But that's generally how the game works. I mean, like even this one here, these are really good feats too. Gather a ram and deploy them to any region. Move the ram up to 3 times at no cost. Going back to that ramming. So you're just you're just bashing everyone, everywhere, wherever you go. This feat here, gather all the iron wills and deploy them. Then attack each region with an iron will for 2 damage. I mean, lots of aggression, lots of different things that go on, but this resolves quickly if you couldn't tell. All right, that's the game. Wroth is a highly interactive, very aggressive, almost arcadey, but definitely very tactical at the same time. And it's just a romp. It's a 60-minute romp, highly aggressive and in your face. And I think that's what will appeal to people who are even not fans of area control type games. This is like quick. It's quick. It's snappy. It's got enough variability and asymmetry mixed in a cocktail. And also low key, the drafting definitely makes things very interesting. There's no re-rolls or anything like that. So you're really playing with what you get each round. Okay, so you're just playing with what you get. And that's the whole idea. What are you going to do this round? How are you going to make impact? And how are you going to get to those 40 points? What's most important now? How can you move things around later? I mean, honestly, I got all these people on the shores down here. What am I going to do with these people when I get all of them there? Let's say I have this. I can move all these people onto this board. Now that whole area changes, okay? So you're thinking about those types of things. Also, I don't know what people are going to do with these icons up here. When they turn into dice, I don't know what action they're going to take. I just know which one they can't take. So there's all these different little things that go on that change up the strategy of each game. Doesn't seem to feel samey. Anyway, cooperative. I got to play that with the designer. It's got a couple die rolls that determine like how they take actions, and it builds up over time, and it becomes a very aggressive game. They have, I think they have some live streams coming up to kind of show you how the game plays. And they actually have multiple live streams, I think, even before the campaign. That's kind of how I learned the game. And you're going to see a lot of aggression from the AI. And you'll also see your troops get depleted pretty quickly. So it definitely changes things up. It requires a lot of table conversation. And honestly, the quarterbacking, I don't know how you quarterback it because there's just too much to address at once. But there's definitely a lot of table conversation. So check that out. I hadn't played the solo mode. I just didn't have enough time. But hopefully this gives you a good round, kind of a decent feel of how the game works. Now, should you back it or not? That is not for me to tell you because I can't tell you what to do with your money. What I can tell you is thank you for your time and watching this preview today. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I'd like to thank Chip Theory for sponsoring this video. And honestly, if you have feedback or questions, they will probably come in this video and answer them. But I'll leave that up to you. All right, folks. Thank you for your time. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on MVM. Take care.